next young man, he opened up our event with a prayer. This is Pastor Jack Martin. He is a Freedom from the Pulpit, and he's a pastor in Assembly of God Church, Pasco County, Florida. Give him a welcome.
I love that he keeps calling me a young man. That works. You know what it is today? We're all Americans. We're not great. We're not big. We're not big in our own eyes. We're simply people. I thought about it this week. I'm a father. I'm a Christian. I'm a Black Robe Regiment pastor. I'm a Pulpit Freedom Sunday pastor. I'm a chaplain for a 912 group. I'm an American. I'm a patriot. And as of December, once again, I'm a gun owner. Each one of us at some point in time over the last several years has had an epiphany moment where the light went on. That moment for me was September 11th, 2001. When I stood there and I watched the news as planes from another nation crashed into the World Trade Center, into the Pentagon. And then I watched as brave Americans gave their life on a flight over Shanksville, Pennsylvania to keep our White House or Capitol from being the next victim. I understood we were in a new battle. Let me say to you this morning that I upset the people of my church on September 16, 2001. They wanted a pity party pat on the back, and that's not what I gave them. I stood in the pulpit and I preached that day from Deuteronomy 28, the blessings and cursings of God. And what it goes on to say is that God will bless a nation that walks according to His standard, that does right in His eyes, that respects others, and does things the way the Lord had laid it out. But He also concludes that message by saying that any nation that will not walk with God will have to face the consequences of that. I told our people that day, our future is in our hands. We will walk away from here and we will either turn this nation back to God and to the rightful things that our founding fathers gave us, or we are going to do it for a few weeks or months and we're going to become worse than we ever were before. We have become worse than we've ever been before. On that day, I knew if we didn't change, bad things were coming our way. What I did not know that one of them was going to be President Obama. I will say to you today, there are things going on in this nation that I never conceived to be possible. When I look at the utter disdain for our Constitution, when I see the appointment of czars in our nation, I thought that was reserved for the former Soviet Union. When I see things like Fast and Furious, the real people that had guns that shouldn't have had guns given to them by our government, and they are the ones that we need to fear, not the God-fearing folks in this room today. When I look at a situation going on today where we cannot even get answers to what happened to our ambassador and three brave Americans when they gave their life in Benghazi, I've got to say to that government, I'm sorry, I don't trust you anymore. When I, as a believer, am told that I have to violate my faith and buy into Obamacare because he said so, or I've got to give somebody my gun because he said so, my friend, that's not happening in this lifetime. This past December, I purchased a 2026 SIG 9mm handgun. I haven't owned a handgun or a gun in general since I was about 16 years of age. I had somebody ask me, why did you purchase it? Are you afraid of crime in your community? And I said, no, absolutely not. And they said to me, then why did you buy it? And I stopped and I looked him in the eye and I said, because the first time in the entirety of my life, I am afraid of the government of the United States of America. For the first time in my life, I fear the loss of not only my First Amendment rights, my Second Amendment rights, but every right that our founding fathers ever gave their life to give us. Amen?
Amen.
I turned to him that day and I pulled out a pocketbook of the Declaration, and I read this. I said, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind require that they should declare that cause which impelled them to separation. I went on to continue to read, and I said that to secure these rights, governments were instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. That when any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute a new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing such powers in a form as that they shall see best to affect their safety and their happiness. And I closed with this last line to him. I said, prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed with light and transient cause, and accordingly all experience has shown that mankind is more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. Friends, our founding fathers had wisdom beyond our understanding. They knew what a repressive, controlling government was all about. But we have a nation today where our Senate and our House, they do not have the moral character or the courage to walk in the steps of our founding fathers. We have a media today that more resembles Pravda in the Soviet Union than anything to do with the true free press. We have a leadership that is not ashamed to hide behind children and try to draw on sympathy to gain the right to take out of the hands of honest citizens their guns. To those that would say to you and I today, give up your gun for the sake of peace, I will answer them in the words of Benjamin Franklin. Those who would give up their essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. Thomas Jefferson would say this: no free man shall ever be debarred the use of arms. We are never to give up the essential right that we have to defend the freedoms of our nation. I was asked by a friend in the church why I was so pro-gun and why I was involved in government. And I told them plainly, the Bible calls a pastor to be a watchman on the wall. They are there to call out dangers and to declare the evils. They are there to make righteous and godly stands. And that is exactly what I've done. As I stated before, I am known as what is called a Black Robe Regiment pastor. That is a title that was given to the founding fathers' clergy in their day. It was given to them because the preachers were getting up in pulpits and declaring the evils of the kingdom and telling the American people to stand up and do what was right. And so they were justly punished for their stand, even as we still see happen in some places today. I want to share quickly, and I'll close. I want to share with you a story that when I was a young boy, I went to a school in Elizabeth, New Jersey called Thomas Jefferson High. I stood every day on my way to school on the corner of Broad and Elizabeth Avenue. And when I stood there was a building across the road with a placard to a man that was honored for his stand. He was a pastor. His name was James Caldwell. This is what is recorded of him. He was a Presbyterian minister who played a prominent part in the Revolution. Born in Virginia, the seventh son of John and Margaret Caldwell, he graduated from Princeton University. He would have inherited 500 acres. He gave that up to come to Elizabethtown, New Jersey, to be the pastor of a church. When the Revolution broke out, he fought on the side of the patriots. He supplied the men not only with their moral standings when there, he stood by their side with a gun. He was he was forced to flee, and in that time, his wife and child were killed by the then existing government, the British-controlled government. He was later killed by someone that was a spy that was sent there. I stood all of my life on that corner, and I did not understand what that man did for this nation. Today, he's a hero in my eyes. I ask every pastor to have the courage to stand up and speak out. You have a people that love God and they love this country, and you need to be a voice for them. And that is my heart's cry today. There are a lot of speakers, and I just want to close with one last sentence from Thomas Jefferson. He said, the strongest reason for people to retain the right to keep and bear arms is as a last resort to protect themselves against tyranny in government. Friends, we're not here today to talk about hunting rifles. I'm tired of the term assault rifle. I've got a gun that I go out and I hunt deer or something with. I've got a gun that I protect my family. I've never assaulted a deer, and I've never assaulted my family. That gun is a God-given right to you and I to protect us. Don't give it up. God bless you, and God bless our nation.
That deserves another round of applause right there. That was a motivational speech. Teeth of liberty. Teeth of liberty.